Welcome to Daimyo Senso. I wanted to take just a few moments to show you how the game plays, and this will be short and sweet. This board is currently set up for a 3-player game with all of the daimyo in their starting positions. I have an extra one of their tokens here just to get them ready to use for scoring here on the honor tracker. And let's begin the game. The 3-player game begins with the daimyo Miyoshi, Mori, and Shimazu, and they each get to start with 3 troops, 3 armies in their capital, and Miyoshi's capital is Setsu here. Mori's is in Suo here. You can see his capital castle there, and Shimazu is over here in Satsuma, and they each have 3 there. Then each one has 2 in a neighboring city. Shimazu has Bungo, and the Mori have Aki, and Miyoshi has Harima. And then each one gets to choose their fortress that they start with. And they do those in order. The first to choose is Mori, and he's going to choose to put 1 troop there on that fortress. The fortresses are the small green buildings. The cities are these blue ones. And then the next person to choose is Miyoshi. He'll take this for his fortress. And the last one is Shimazu, and he'll take Hizen as his fortress. Now they have tons of extra tokens on the side. They also have Daimyo cards that show you how you set up. You see Mori starts with 3 in Suo, 2 in Oki, and then he gets to choose his fortress. So he chose this one instead of this one. Each daimyo has that card. And then each daimyo also, on the back of that card, it shows the order of their turns. We can't see that part of the board in the video right now, so this helps you to keep track of that as well, just here in front of you locally. So Mori's first turn, he has to move, then he deploys, then he attacks, then he attacks. Everyone has the same 4 actions. It's always 1 move, 1 deploy, and 2 attacks, but they do not necessarily, or in fact, none of them have them in the exact same order. Here's a difference. Here are what these 3 daimyo are allowed to do on their turns, to give you an example. So, gameplay begins now that all the fortresses are set, and we're only going to play through the first season just so you can see the mechanics of the game. Here we go. Mori gets to go first. Oh, one last thing to mention. Each daimyo also gets 4 general cards, which is how generals, either they themselves, see here's Mori himself, or one of his generals can do a special maneuver during their turn that will replace their standard actions with a special one. So instead of his normal deployment, he can do a special deployment. Instead of his normal attack, he could do a special attack. Instead of his normal move, a special move. And they're much more powerful than the basic actions you can take. And you can only use one of those in a year. And each year is comprised of 4 seasons. And those 4 seasons are how they take their 4 actions per year. So we're going to begin and just do the first season of a game so you can see the mechanics, see how it works, and get really the beauty of this game. As you can see, there's much more board to be used, and you can play up to a full 8 players. But here we go in our 3-player game, beginning with Mori. The first thing Mori has to do is move troops. And you see right there, he says move. Well, when you move 1 troop per fortress and castle that you own. And you have to move that troop to either one of your provinces or an unowned province. Well, Mori owns 1 castle, 1 fortress, so he's allowed to move 2 troops 1 space or 1 troop 2 spaces, as long as it's a total of 2 moves. So what Mori is going to do is he's going to use his special action on move. It says after moving into an unowned province, you may make another move without it counting as a move. So Mori's going to use that special ability. And so his first move will be to move into a province he does not own. And now he still has 1 move left, but since he moved into a province that is unowned, he can now make another move without it counting as a move. So Mori will go to this fort. And now he has made a move that into an empty province, so it does not count as a move for him. He still has 1 move left, and he gets a bonus move for that one. So his next move will be to move into Sanuki, And that again is another province that wasn't owned. So he's allowed to make one more move. But now Mori sees a conundrum. He only has one army left in each of his provinces. So his defense is weak. He's not going to use his last move because he'd have to leave a province open, and he doesn't want to do that. So Mori is finished with his move action. It's now Miyoshi's turn, and as you can see, Miyoshi is allowed to attack on his turn, so he has to figure out where to attack. Now, according to the rules, when you attack, and it's right up here, there we go, you destroy one troop for every 2 of your troops in a neighboring province, or you can use that attack to take an unowned province instead. And if you do destroy all the troops in your opponent's province, you may move your troops from your attacking province into that province and take it over. So Miyoshi's attack, he is going to go into this empty province here. Notice that he took all of his troops off of his castle. In the standard game, you cannot lose your home castle. So there's no reason to keep troops there. Now you can have troops there to make attacks from it, but since no one can take it from you, attacking from it is really the only reason to have troops there. So Miyoshi has bolstered his front on this island after taking that small city. He's got 3 troops, 3 armies there now. And so it's much more difficult for someone to take that from him. That's the end of his attack phase. And now we move on to Shimazu's attack phase. And Shimazu, again, he has to attack because that's the order he has to do. And he is going to, I think we should make our attack here, and then we'll try and move those troops off later. Once again, he emptied out, you know what, he's not going to go there, he's going to go here. He emptied out his home castle, moved all the troops to the front line. That's the end of his attack. Now the first season is done because all players have made their first actions, and we move on to season 2. In season 2, Mori must deploy new troops. So Mori counts up according to the deployment rule. When you deploy, you gain 1 troop per city and castle that you own, and you have to put those troops on your cities and castles. So Mori owns 1 castle, so that's 1 troop, 2 troops, 3 troops, and that's all he gets. He only owns 3 total cities and castles. So he gets 3 brand new troops. However, Mori is also the majority controller of the province the region of Chugoku. Chugoku, the color matches here. And so that dark red is all of these dark red. That makes up that region, all these provinces. And Mori has 5 out of the 6 total provinces there. Because of that, he is allowed to deploy 1 extra troop. So we're going to get a 4th one ready. And Mori now has 4 troops to deploy. He cannot put them on fortresses. So he's going to put 2 in that city and 2 in that city and really bolster his front and keep his armies up there in front to keep people from getting into his lands. It's now Miyoshi's turn. Miyoshi will deploy because that is his action too. And Miyoshi has 1, 2, 3. See, that one is a city, that's a castle. So he gets 1 troop for each of those. So he gets a total of 3. He has to put them on cities or castles. He's actually going to put 1 in his castle to be used later to take over the rest of the lands that he needs in his own province, his own region there. He's going to put 1 on that war front, and he'll put 1 on this war front. You can see the concentration of troops here now, with Mori having 3, Miyoshi having 3. Here Miyoshi has 4 and Mori has 3. The armies are building against each other because those 2 are probably going to be going to war soon. So that's the end of Miyoshi's turn. And now it is Shimazu's turn. And his action is to move. And again, when you move, you count up your your castles. So there's 1, and your fortresses. There's 1. So he's allowed to move 2 troops. And Shimazu, does he have a good special move that he can do here? Yeah, he does. So Shimazu is going to move 1 troop there, and he's going to use his special ability move. it says, this turn, when you move a troop to an unowned province, add a troop from your box to it. You may only add one troop per new province that you take over. Let's get rid of that. So he's moved this troop, and so according to his special action there, he's now allowed to add a troop to it, so it gives him 2. That was only one move. He still has 1 left. And he's gonna be, his next one is to deploy. He needs to keep that then. His next move will be to move one of those troops there. And now he's taken both of his actions. He gets to add one there since it was a move to an unowned province. And so now Shimazu's turn is over, and that's the end of season 2. We're halfway done with the first year. So next it's Mori again, and Mori must attack. He can't use any special actions because he's already used one this year, and you're only allowed 1 per year. So when you attack, as we talked about earlier, you count up your troops in the province you're attacking from, and they can kill 1 troop for every 2 troops that you own. So Mori has 3 here and 3 here. No matter which one of those makes the attack, they can only kill 1 troop because you round down. Also, the minimum you can kill is 1. So even if this 1 troop were to make the attack, that means half of that would be a half, which should round down to 0. But since your minimum is 1, you can only kill 1. You can still kill 1. So these 3 are gonna attack here in Harima. And actually, he's not gonna do that. These 3 are gonna attack here, and he's gonna kill 1 troop of Miyoshi's. He has to get rid of that army. That keeps Miyoshi under 4. So now this army can only kill 1 instead of 2. Right? That's what Mori's hoping to do. Now it's Miyoshi's turn. Miyoshi has to move troops. Let's see. Miyoshi wants to move. He's really stuck because he doesn't want to move troops from the back. Actually, he can move this one there. By the way, Miyoshi's total of movements is 1, 2. These are both cities. They don't count in movement. Movement is only, remember, your castles and your forts, and he only has 1 of each. So he's going to move that troop from his castle to that city. And now he is finished. And now we move on to Shimazu, who his turn right now is going to be to deploy new troops. He's on action 3. So he has to deploy. He adds up his castles, 1, and his cities, 1, 2. So that makes a total of 3 troops that he can deploy. He gets 3 new troops out of his bag. He deploys those troops onto either his castles or cities that he owns. He's gonna put 2 there. I hate it when they're upside down. And he's gonna put 1 here. He now has a big army of 5 in Hizen here, and an army of 2 in Bungo. And that's the end of his deployment phase. That is the end of season 3. And now we have one last season before the first year is over. We're going to season 4. And Mori's turn, he must attack again. So Mori is now going to work on the mainland here and kill one of Miyoshi's troops, one of his armies there. It's now Miyoshi's turn, and Miyoshi must attack. You kill 1 troop for every 2 that you own, rounded down. So he's going to use these 3 to kill 1 of those of Mori's. And then the last action is Shimazu's attack. And now Shimazu's going to start making himself felt on the mainland. And he has 5 total troops in Hizen. Here's the 4 he's attacking with. He's going to kill this one of Mori's and take over this little fortress area right here with those 4 troops and expand his front out. Now, that's the end of year 1. Everyone has done all 4 of their seasons. The year is over, and now it's time to score. The way the game works is you count up your castles, and they're worth 3 honor each. Your cities are worth 2 honor each, and your fortresses are worth 1 honor each. So let's start with Mori. He has 1 castle, that's for 3. 2 cities, that's worth, actually 3 cities, 1, 2, 3. Those are worth 2 each, so that's 6. And then he owns a fortress right there, that's worth 1. So 6 for the cities, 1 makes 7, plus 3 makes 10. So Mori gets a token out, gives himself 10 honor, and we move on to Miyoshi. And we'll talk about bonuses in a minute. Miyoshi has his home castle, that's 3, 1 fortress for 1, and 2 cities worth 2 apiece. So there's 4 plus 1 is 5, plus his castle makes it 8. Miyoshi gets a token out of his box. He marks himself down with 8 honor, and we go to Shimazu. Shimazu has his castle for 3, 2 cities worth 2 each, so that's 4, plus 1, 2, 3 forts worth 1 each, that's 3. So those 3 plus these 4 makes 7, plus his home castle makes 10. Shimazu also got 10 honor like Mori did. And now let's see if there are any bonuses. Because Mori is the primary, he has 4 out of the 6 in Chogoku, which is a majority, he has more than half. He also gains an extra honor at the end of the year. So Mori goes up 1 more. He leaves that on 10. He adds another token to the 1, and now he has 11 honor. And then Shimazu has most of Kyushu, and he's the majority owner there, but there's no bonus honor for that, so he doesn't get any extra. That is the end of the first year. This game is played for 4 years, and whoever ends the game with the most honor is the champion, is the new shogun, and has won the game. And so they would continue on and do what they just did 3 more times, and that would be the end of the game. That's how you play Daimyo Senso. It is a really cool game coming out this summer on Kickstarter from Warrior with a Pen Games, and you're gonna love it. You can play with up to 8 players. Even a full 8-player game takes less than 2 hours, and that's under the regular rule set. But there is an additional rule set that's coming in the box. Costs you nothing extra. For those of you who like the longer games and want to literally destroy your friends while you're playing a board game, it gets rid of the rule where you can't lose your home castle. It also gets rid of the static turns so that you don't have to do your turn in this order if you choose to play that set of rules. And instead, you get 4 cards that say move, deploy, attack, and attack. And you're allowed to use those to determine what order you take your turn in. So you can play it either way. The standard way is what I just demonstrated here, but the other way is for those who want a longer game and really want to get the game down to where only 1 person survives. And of course, in that game, you don't keep track of honor. None of that matters. But you can still use the regional bonuses for being the majority landowner in a region. This game's coming out very soon this summer. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Nathan Lusk from Warrior with a Pen Games, and I hope to see you on Kickstarter. We need to get this baby launched. Have a great day.